Hello there boys and girls, and welcome back to the CSS and HTML tutorial series. In this HTML and CSS tutorial series I'm going to show you a really cool video series with all the CSS and HTML stuff you have to know, and I will show you every single CSS tip and trick in a very big pool of CSS videos. In this tutorial series I'm going to show you and teach you the CSS and HTML for building an awesome and stunning website for yourself or for a company or something else like that. Have fun watching the video right now with the first tutorial, and let's go. Alright, in this first tutorial I'm going to show you the basics of HTML and CSS. First things first, we're going to say what is HTML and what is CSS. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it basically describes the look of your website and what is on your website, what exists on your website. That's basically what HTML is doing. It will only say, hey, there exists container 1, exists container 2, and exists container 3. Nothing else. It will only describe your homepage and the look of your homepage. Then we got CSS, and with CSS standing for getting style sheets, you can style this HTML and these containers. For example, you can say the background will be red, it has this borders, and you can say it will be in there in this position, and it will be overlapping this container and this container. It basically gives cool look and a stunning look for your website. And then we got JavaScript, and with JavaScript you can bring some functionality on your website. For example, you can say if you click something, something will happen, or if you go hover something with your mouse, something will happen. Pretty easy, right? So first of all, we're going to create a new file, and we're going to say we will name it index.html. That's very important. Your main HTML file always needs to be named index.html, because every browser will directing on this page first. Alright, so here we go. And basically HTML is pretty easy. All you have to know about it is that you can create containers by opening a tag. And the tag could be, for example, a div tag, or the tag could be, for example, a p tag for paragraph. And first things first, you have to start with the HTML tag. It basically starts saying, hey, for now we're going to put in some HTML code here right now. And as you can see, my editor made this. You will always have to close the text by putting in this sign here. And that's basically the opening of the tag, and that's basically the ending of the tag. And every HTML file needs a head tag that basically describes the head of the website, so the title and something like this. And you need, of course, the body tag here. In the body tag you can put in everything you want to see later on the website itself, right? So if we save this, as you can see, now it looks like this here right now. So you can put in another tag. For example, in the head tag you can say for example, title, and you can say the title will be, for example, you can put in your name here. I said BananaCoding, and if you save it, the title of your website is BananaCoding. And that's very important as well. In the beginning of your HTML file, you have to say !doc_type HTML. You're gonna say for the file, hey, you're gonna put in HTML content, right? Okay, so if I go into the body tag, I told you that's the visible part of the website. So if I put in, for example, here, let's say a paragraph tag for putting in some text and say hello. If you save it, you can see hello. And of course, there are a lot of tags you can use. For example, you can say header, and you can say, for example, let's say footer. And basically most used is the div container, right? And you can use this, but you will not see it. It only describes there's existing a footer container and a header container, but you will not see it. You have to style it with CSS. Basically not every container needs to be closed with this sign here right now. There are some containers existing, for example, the image tag, that don't need to be closed, or the import tag, for example, you don't need to close them, right? As you can see, my editor will not close them automatically. For now, we're going to bind in our styles.css. First things first, you have to create a new file, and you have to name it, for example, styles.css. In this file, you can put in every code for styling your website to make it visible, very cool. So you have to go in your head tag to bind it into index.html, and you can say tag link href, and that's now the link to your styles.css, and the link should be relative, it's very important. you go styles.css and you can say type will be text CSS, and you can say well will be style sheet. Alright, as you can see, the link tag has not to be closed as well. Alright, we save this. I can start designing my website right now. And that's basically very important, that you can style a tag by just calling this tag. For example, my p tag with the hello here. And then I can open curly brackets or braces. And I can say, for example, write my first code. For example, I can say font minus size, will change the size of the font, will be, for example, 24 pixel. And every code you write has to end with a semicolon here. So if I save this, as you can see, the text will get bigger. Let's make it a little bit bigger and say, let's say 240 pixel. And if I save it, you see the text is really big. But we will stay here for 24 pixel. Alright, so we're gonna back to the index.html. And what we're gonna say here is we're gonna open a new tag and call it, for example, header. And every tag can has attributes. And for example, the attribute of every tag would be a class name. So you can say, for example, the class name will be my header. And for example, you can give the tag a name as well. For example, you can say my header ID. And here you can say the class name will be my header class to make the difference here visible. Alright. What you can do now is you can go to styles.css and you can style every single class itself and every single ID itself. So for styling an ID, you have to put in the hash and then the ID name. So my header ID. And I can put in code here right now. For example, I can say height will be, let's say, 200 pixel, width will be 100%. So it go all over the container. As you can see, my p tag was pushed down because here is now the header container I design here right now. And if, for example, you can say background minus color will be, and let's put in a cool gray, for example. And if I save it, as you can see, there is my header right now. And now I can say, for example, border, and I can say 2 pixel solid height. And if I save this, now we cannot see it because the background is white as well. Let's say red, for example, and you can see the borders of this container will be red. And that's basically what I told you in the beginning. With index.html, with the HTML file, you can describe what exists on your homepage, but it is not visible, at least. The text, of course, is. But in your styles.css files, you can design them and say, hey, this will be looking like this, and this will be looking like this, and this will be on this position and this position. For example, you can change the position as well. For example, you can say position will be absolute. And now the p tag is shown absolute, not relative anymore. And what you can say basically is bottom 0 pixel. And now you see it will be pushed down to the bottom because the position is absolute, not relative anymore, right? And that's basically what CSS is doing. You can style everything and whatever you want. Alright, now we're going to say you can style classes as well. You can style classes by using the dot sign, and you can again say my header class. It's the name of the class, yes it is. My header class. And again, you can open brace. You can say background minus color will be green. But now, before I save it, it will not change. I will save it now and nothing will change because, and that's very important, what you have to know, the ID is always stronger than a class. So if I have an ID and I style this in the CSS, it will always take the code from the ID first. So if I remove the background color here in the ID, it will take the background color in the class. So it's green right now. It doesn't even change if you put in the code before the header. So if I go like this, nothing will change. It will take the ID's values first. That's very important, what you have to know. And of course, at least we can create a footer. And for example, we can say, this is my footer. And now you have your footer here. And again, you can style it by say footer. As you can see, all over tags are without a point or a hash in the beginning, because we style the whole footer tag here right now. So if I create more footer tags, every footer tag will be designed then. So we can again say font minus size, like in the p tag, 24 pixel. And we can, for example, say position will be absolute and bottom will be 0 pixel. So it's pushed in the bottom. And we, for example, can say height will be 100 pixel and width will be 100%. And we can say background minus color will be dark gray here again. And we can say border again 2 pixel solid red. So, and of course you can change the color of the font by say color white. And you can put in the text in the middle of a container by say text minus align will be center. And you can say here text minus align will be center. And of course you have to put in the width to 100% as well. Okay, that's basically a little homepage we built by just using CSS and HTML. Of course, it's just for showing you the differences. This will be a big tutorial series, and we will go deeper into CSS and HTML, and of course maybe a little bit JavaScript. I hope you guys liked the video. If you want to see more of this video tutorial series, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a like. I really appreciate that. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will see you in the next video and tutorial number 2. Bye.